We acknowledge that Tri-Cities Community Television operates on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation. We thank the Coquitlam who continue to live on these lands and care for them along with the waters and all that is above and below.
Welcome to Tri-Cities Community Television. I'm your host, Cathy, and we are here at Poirier Library. We'd like to thank the library for donating their space to us today, and we continue our election series. And in the studio today, we have Kash Tayal.
That's right.
And thank you for being here. You're running for election in Coquitlam.
That's right.
And we're just going to jump right in. Tell us why you are running to be a city councillor.
Cathy, thank you for inviting me here and giving me opportunity to speak with you all. Actually, this election is kind of personal to me. Mm-hmm. I immigrated to this country in 2006. I started from scratch. I built up the whole enterprise, and now I'm a father of 2 kids, a family man, and a whole business setup that I have done. I feel proud in my success, and I want to bring that basement to boardroom motivation in the city hall. Mm-hmm. That's the whole purpose why I'm running, because I want to build this city, in my opinion, a smarter way, and that can be home for our kids and future for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. What's one issue that you believe matters most in Coquitlam to the residents?
For Coquitlam, when I was looking at their surveys, I know affordability is everywhere, all over, not Coquitlam, but anywhere you talk about the whole country, whole globe maybe. Here in Coquitlam, people are very frustrated with the traffic congestions, road infrastructure. Mm. The time they spend on the traffic away from their family, away from any other activities that they can do. That is one of those things that is a top priority, that is taking quite a lead, that we all need to think about how we can build up to a next level of infrastructure.
So what would your 3 priorities be in Coquitlam if you were elected?
Great. I will tell you, and probably you have heard it from everybody else. Everybody says the same, and we all will have the same, because as the population is growing, the problems, the issues will keep coming. It will never stop. And nobody can claim that, hey, we resolved everything, now you are problem free. It will never happen.
Right.
The things, as the population grows, as the things density grows, we all have to move on. Affordability is one of those things that is global, anywhere you go. But since city is responsible for housing, it's very important that how the affordability can be reduced to the minimum level, and people can live in this city for future when they grow, like my kids, when they grow to teenage, and then further they want to buy their first home, and then they will probably look into family home. That's what the affordability comes. So how the permit process from the city that can be reduced, that people don't get frustrated in those processes. And also the second is the same road infrastructure. City premises are very limited. We are not going to expand it. I mean, city is limited there. But the roads infrastructure, if it can be planned in a better way, if the things can be done that can reduce our time sitting in the traffic, that is one of my main thinking, how can we bring it to the next level. Mm-hmm. When I'm talking to people, general residents, family men, somebody says, why not we can sync the lights one way that goes with the speed limit, and that way our commute can be less. And that's a very valid point. So they say they do it in Texas. I'm not sure how much they do and how they do it. Of course, there is a lot of technology involved there, but this is something, an eye opener. We need to think about it, how we can do the infrastructure. The road, major intersections, major highways and routes that can be expanded if possible. If you look at the pipeline road, how beautifully they have made it, but it was a massive project for the city when they come up. So those were two things. The third thing that I always emphasize as a family man, sports, recreation, parks, facilities is very, very prime for me. It's not that when we say that there is crime rate has to be reduced, these are reactive way. For me, proactive way, how much we can keep our youth and teenage and kids involved in the activities that they don't go on the streets, they don't go in the crimes, and they don't go into anything that we don't have to deal with later on. So 4-year term, 8 years, or anybody who goes into these seats, they have to think that how they can build up the future, that our next generations, they can have a better living, because population will grow, density will grow, there will be issues coming up, there will never be a stoppage, but how do we plan and do it for the future, that is more important for me. So those are the things that I definitely emphasize on.
So you talked about, housing and affordability. It is a major concern across the province and across Canada, really. But how do you think that we can balance growth and affordability in Coquitlam?
Growth and affordability. See, building just with the concrete and pipes is not something that gonna bring the affordability. When you talk about affordability, we have to look into not only the housing, but also what you provide along with the housing. So do we have recreational facilities? Do we have the proper policing infrastructure that can protect our citizens, our residents? So affordability has to go in all the way. We just look at the tax dollars that, hey, we are paying that much, what am I getting? But that goes in all the ways. If residents and families starts looking into the balanced, Coquitlam is a very balanced council, I will tell you, from what I have studied and what I have learned from years and years. They are doing amazing work. But what we need to think is a smarter way, how we can make it better, how we can improve on it further. So affordability will remain, it is a major problem, it will remain a problem. But if we are able to sync the basics of building along with the provisions that the city provides, then the affordability can be resolved in a better way.
And then we move on to basically density and development. And you talked a lot about infrastructure. The city is growing. A lot of residents are moving to Coquitlam because it is an amazing city. What are your thoughts on that?
So from my business mindset, if the density is increasing and it's increasing the traffic congestion, yes. But also, if you look at the developments that Coquitlam has done, like if you look at Coquitlam, that area, massive infrastructures are coming. Burke Mountain, if you see so much of developments are going, but all these things has to be balanced out with, as I said earlier, with the infrastructure that we provide with that, how much we are providing for the recreations and other facilities for the sports on there, how much we are devoting to the fire and the policing there, and how accessible we are making for the citizens, the residents who are going to buy. So yes, housing developments, everything is coming, but we have to develop all community centers coming up there in the Burke Mountains and all those. So those are major things that we have to think about, devote upon.
Right. Now, you talk a lot from a business background.
Yes.
And we talked about infrastructure
Yeah.
and affordability, things like that. What about the environment, Kash?
Environment.
Coquitlam does pride itself
Yeah.
on, its parks and trails, and a lot of people are running through Mundy Park. They're doing a lot of
Absolutely.
great things. How would you protect and enhance these community assets?
So when you think about Coquitlam, it's not only the parks and recreations, but our forests, the trees, the green canopies, the rivers, and everything, the beauty of this city is what we have to hold for. I strongly pioneer for planting trees. I have been involved with the cleanliness programs with the community. I, as much as possible, and any developments we do, any planning we do have to think about how the green canopies can be built in. Mm-hmm. Because yes, when our density is increasing, population is increasing, we are definitely breaking the nature's law by removing the trees and jungles, but then we have to plan the proper infrastructure that how we can develop the trees and greeneries. That is one of those important things that comes under the planning. And believe it, Coquitlam, and as every other city is doing, but Coquitlam does a very good job on planning those infrastructures before they implement it. And so tree plantation is a major move, and I strongly advocate for that. Okay. I do want to see the greeneries as much as it can be in every part, because that is the symbol of our Coquitlam city.
So let's get to know a little bit about you. What would you say your leadership style is, and what can you bring to council?
Cathy, honestly, I'm the guy who built myself, and that's why I'm sitting here with you. I bring the basement to boardroom philosophy of myself that probably I started from zero, so I built everything out of zero. And when I understand how the tax dollar for a resident should work, because I have worked my dollars to give me that kind of enterprise that I was able to build in today. Mm-hmm. So I feel that I have that authority and knowledge to turn the tax dollar into valuable asset for people, that they feel that yes, what I'm paying the city, I'm getting worth out of it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that is my style, that how can I make out of nothing to everything for the city, and that's what I have proven in my business skills. I want to prove it in the city too.
Okay. What's one thing you absolutely love about Coquitlam?
Well, one thing is the nature that we get in the Coquitlam, because the moment we talk about Coquitlam or we see the Coquitlam in Google, the things that comes is the forest, the rivers, the nature that we have in Coquitlam. So it's not only that we are building the life, affordability, traffic, and everything for families, but we are also part of the nature where we have to support and live together with that. Right. That is one of those things that how we can plan, again, comes to the same thing, how we plan and implement that the nature is together with us, because that is the symbol of Coquitlam. We are symbolic to where we live. It could be a big metropolitan city where there is hardly a greeneries or so, but that is not what Coquitlam is. Coquitlam has to stand for what it signifies.
Right, right. What would you like to tell your voters that they may not know about you?
I started my life early in the 20s, and I'm an immigrant, so I come from a very underprivileged family where my family was not able to support my studies and my travel. So my entrepreneurship started when I went to Austria. The day I landed, I started washing dishes because I had to support my next day food and the college. So that was my first entrepreneurship, and I'm very proud of it today, that at my young age, I mean, our kids get everything they will wish nowadays, but that was not those things in my life. That was not the case for
you, right? Yeah.
So I landed in the country where I don't speak the language, and the next thing I do is I went on the street to look for a job, because next day I had no money to pay for my breakfast and lunch. So right. I started washing dishes, because if you know, Austria is a German-speaking country. That's I had right. no knowledge about German. So only thing I was able to do is a manual labor. So I started doing that. So what I mean to say that out of nothing, if you have that confidence in you, enthusiasm in you, you can bring it to the next level. There is nobody can stop. Like right nowadays, you guys have kids, families. You will always hear, oh, his principal's son or daughter, oh, his coach's son, daughter, that's why. But I feel in a different way. You know, if you have the talent, you have the potential, nobody can stop you. It
Right.
comes out.
Right.
So you will get the right opportunity. So I strongly believe that if you are able to build up from basement to boardroom, yes, you can do if you have thoughts, you have smart thinking, you can bring your thoughts on the paper in the planning, and that will bring some change in the 4 years' time if I get into it.
So just the last thing, why should residents vote for you? I'm a resident of Coquitlam.
Oh, are you?
I'm not. No, I'm not. But if I was, tell me right now. Give me your 30-second pitch. Don't talk about the immigration. Don't talk about the ground up. I just want to know why.
I strongly feel that if I have a smart thinking, I can bring a smart infrastructure in my city's paper, in the any of those resolutions or any of the city's planning that could be built up in a better infrastructure if I have a better planning. And if my thoughts are there, then I can bring, if I am able to make from zero to something, I'm definitely looking at every tax dollar every resident pays and what I'm giving to them in return. Because everybody will pay taxes every year, but if they feel after 4 years that yes, what we did, what we paid, it was worth because the city did this much for me, I will be like, that's it for me, that's done for me, because I want the families not only to live and just complain about it, but to live with a proud that yes, city did something, they built this or they did this for us, that I'm feeling good about what I pay for.
Great. Fantastic. Today you're listening to Kash, and he's talking to us about why people should elect him in this fall election. And he is a gentleman that has been brought from basement to boardroom, and he wants to bring that and his knowledge to Coquitlam City Council in the fall. So don't forget to vote. You're listening to Cathy Cena with Tri-Cities Community Television, and this is our election series. Thanks so much for watching.